Hi everyone, and welcome back to another Star Wars figure review. Today I'm going to be showing you the newly released foil and waxer with Numa that's been released by Sideshow Collectibles from their Militaries of Star Wars range. Like all my other Sideshow reviews, they're the same scale, the 1/6 scale figures, so they stand about 12 inches high. Give you a quick talk around the box, which being a double set is not humongously massive. I thought it was going to be a bigger box, but they sort of crammed in all the accessories really well, so I'll get onto that in a moment. As with usual, you've got all your glossy pictures all the way around the box. And you've got your magnetic catch on the side. Now this one, I'm trying to do it one-handed here, so you'll have to bear with me. Opens out fairly similarly to the other sort of boxes that have been released by Sideshow. It's just that a little bit thicker to try and accommodate everything in there. You've got a full rundown of Clone Troopers Boyle and Waxer and how they met up with little Numa. And the standard blurb on the side about, well, you probably can't see much actually with the glare, but how Palpatine set up his grand army of the Republic. But anyway, there's a quick tour of the box. Get onto the figures. I think what I'll do first, if I go through little Numa, not an awful lot to say on little Numa. I mean, it's, well, what you expect with Sideshow. It's all been nicely done. The figure comes with a ball jointed head and ball hinge shoulders. Pretty decent. So there is a bit of articulation in there. I don't think there's any articulation. I won't pry up a skirt. I'm sure there's no articulation in the legs. It's a pretty sort of a basic figure, but it just sits on a peg on the base. But the like the dress is all made out of cloth and material, so, and sort of weathered towards the bottom there. It looks all pretty good. Must have, I didn't actually buy the set just for the Numa figure. I think there is a special release, or I can't remember how Sideshow describe it, but I think Numa comes with a little toy, but I don't know if it's the same price or not, but there we go. That's little Numa, so that's her out of the way. On to the boys. Right, where do I start? Let's try, I think this is Waxer, isn't it? With the bold head. I always get mixed up. Let's have a look. What does the box say? Waxer with Numa. Right, let's have a look at Waxer. Super job again from Sideshow. You know, you've got a 12-inch figure, fully posable. I think there's 30 plus points of articulation. The armour sits really well. I mean, it's you know, to be honest, it's the same as all the other sort of clones that I've been reviewing. You've got the fabric bodysuit. You've got an additional fabric collar that sort of like can be put around the neck. There we've got a face sculpt, sort of combining Tamura Morrison's features and Waxer's representation in the Clone Wars series. There he is with his Phase 1 helmet. And all these kills along the side, I suppose. I mean, as you can see, they've done a great job on like the weathering and the scratching. It's they really do a great job on it. But I mean, the figure is so well put together and fully poseable. I mean, you can put the arms out, and it sort of holds the pose, and the limbs are nice and tight, but not so tight that you can't move it. You've got your standard Star Wars display base with the adjustable seat, shall we say, that just sits through underneath the armour there. I'll bring up foil as well, and we can sort of compare the facial sculpts, because they are slightly different. There is a difference in the facial sculpt between the two, and obviously foil's got a bit more hair than Waxer, and some dodgy 70s style moustache. Then you've got a slightly different style, well, not style, you've got the Phase 1 helmet, but with the different markings on. And I know when the figures first came out, there was a little bit of concern about the Waxer and Boyle figures, because they seem to have the most elongated necks in the whole wide world. And I'd seen on a couple of like forums or chats or whatever where people were a bit worried about it, but I must admit they've come out looking all pretty good. Again, both figures have got all the same articulation, and so you can just get them posed up in any sort of setup you want. As you can see, I've got Waxer with the DC-15 blaster, and Boyle with the blaster rifle. Right, I'm going to try and show you all the other bits and bobs that came with it. I've got a pair of swap out hands and a really cool set of clone binoculars. Some delicate little pieces on the side and on the front there. Check out that. I don't know how well you can sort of see that. Like the green in there. Looks really good. Nice little touch by Sideshow on that. Right, that must be, I'm sure it's Waxer's Phase 2 helmet. Again, all weathered up. Now, the only thing I'm not sure about, whether it's just my preference or if it's meant to be like that, it's just a little, looks like little ant trails on his markings on his helmet, all dotted all the way around. The only thing that lets, for me personally anyway, I don't know what anyone else thinks, but that's the only thing that sort of lets this set down. I would have preferred the helmet not to have those little, I don't know how well you can see that, hopefully it's picking it up, what I call little ant trails, all the little dots around the helmet. But apart from that, it's weathered really well. You can see all the darkened smudges on there. Now, I do get asked when I do these reviews, do the helmets sit on top of the clones' heads? No. What you've got is a hole at the bottom, at the top of the helmet, and that just sits on a peg on top of the body, which is fully movable. But you just literally swap out either the Phase 2, Phase 1 or head sculpt. The helmets won't sit on the head sculpt itself. Right, moving on. Pair of swap out boots. Collection of hands. Two-fingered salute. Always like that one. And there we go. There's another DC-15 blaster. You've got the little pistol. Is that a DC-17 pistol? I can't remember now. It's a while since I've done a review. And on to the next box. Another pair of swap out hands like the clenched fist. Now I'm assuming this is going to be Boyle's replacement helmet, Phase 2. Again, you see what I mean, you got the little ant trails. Doesn't do anything for me, but I'm sure some people like it. There we go. Hello. Right, and again another pair of swap out boots, so you can alter the stance. You got another blaster rifle and another little pistol at the top. So all in all, that's all the, I don't know if you can see it all. Boom, boom, boom. Lots of packaging. All fitted in really well. I was surprised how well they've all sort of fitted it in that standard box, but it all came together. I must admit, I am really chuffed with this package. It really sits nicely with my collection. I'm so pleased I got it. It was a little bit pricey. You do have to shop around because some places want to try and charge the earth. I actually got this off a company called Secret Compass Collectibles out in the US. So a big thanks to Shane for getting me fixed up with this set. Now a couple of my good friends on YouTube, FlyGuy.net and SithLord229, they've done some reviews on Sideshow Collectibles as well, so by all means check out their channels, have a look, and see what they've been reviewing. One thing I was going to say about the old clone binoculars, there is a released Phase 1 Clone Commander, the yellow one. Now I was hoping that was going to be released with a pair of these binoculars, because the Gentle Giant bust came with one, and I think you see it in the movie where he's holding a pair of those binocular things, and it didn't. I don't think it has been released with it. So what I might do when I finally get me Clone Commander is use that in there in the set. But there we go. Hope you've enjoyed the review. I've tried to keep it as brief as I can. I mean, I could prattle on for ages about the figures, but I've done enough reviews of clones before. It's just same clones, different armour. But being a sucker for clones, I had to get them. Right, hope you've enjoyed it. Till next time, take care everyone out in YouTube land. Bye bye.